Yo, what's going on, gamers, coders, speedrunners, and all-around game enthusiasts? This is Joystick Justin here, and welcome to Devlog 5 for my game, Project Adapt. It's been like 2 years since my last devlog, so there's a lot to go through. I'll start by showing, um, let's say you have this world. Um, if you erase the world, now it asks you a confirmation if you actually want to erase the world. You can say no and it doesn't do anything, and you can still enter the world and play it. If you say yes, then the world's gone. So that's one of my first changes that I've made here. Um, so let's just dig right into a world, and I'll just show off all of the changes. So let's start with. You can see that items in my inventory now have a durability bar for the items that have durability on them. Also, if you're ever hovering over an item, it now tells you what item you're looking at. Yeah, so there's also this recipe book. So I've implemented that into the game, and so you can go through and scroll through the recipes. I want to make an axe right now, so I can click the button to copy recipe, and here you go. I don't have enough items to complete the craft because I need a sharp stone. So this shows all the recipes in the game. So here's a sharp stone. We can make those, and then we can go back and we can make. So there's going to be a search function. I'm going to put like a search function in here, so it's not just going to be scrolling through all the time. But there you go. So I've just done some crafting. Yeah, so I'm also going to craft a boat and show how the boat works, because that's also new for the game. So there was a boat recipe in here somewhere. Here you are, and there we go, we got a boat. Okay, so the boat does what you'd think it would do. Lets you cross water. So this is like a mini river slash ocean. I don't really know what that is, but let's go over here to this area, and boom. So you can cross water like that. So here's a pig. So last time we had pigs. I don't know if they dropped anything, but now they drop meat. And I'll show you the next thing. So I think I said last devlog that the reason why that I was implementing pigs into the game was because um, I wanted to have solar panels in the game. And so the way that we're implementing solar panels is that there's going to be phosphorus that you can get from grinding up the pig's meat. Also, another thing to note is that there's an on-off button on every machine. So you can see those in every machine. There's a button you can turn the machine on and off. Yeah, so the one of the items that was created as well for the game is an assembler. So let's go over to the anvil, and one of the items here should be an assembler. Let's start by making some more copper wire, and I'll show you the assembler, which is how you make solar panels. Okay, so assembler, there you go. I do have enough to make it, so that's good. And we can throw the assembler right there. It'll fill up with juice. And we might have to generate a bit more electricity for that. Now, the recipe book does not show machine recipes, but that's definitely on the to-do list, and it's going to happen sooner than later. It's probably one of the next things I'll implement. Okay, but so I'm going to leave full screen here. We'll look at the code for a minute. I'm not going to actually like show you any code yet, so if you're not interested in code, don't leave quite yet, because I haven't processor recipe. So this is like the code for all the recipes. So the recipe for crafting a solar cell, I need phosphorus. Okay, so it's phosphorus. I think there was aluminum here. And then it was also silicon dust. Oh, it was aluminum. Okay. Yeah, I think it's like that. So, and then silicon in the middle. Okay. Go back to full screen here. So silicon is made from This is all a bunch of new stuff. So silicon is made from grinding up stones in the grinder. So there we go. We're going to grind up some stones here. Okay, and there you go. Silicon dust. I'll grab that. And then I might actually need more iron. I actually have perfectly enough iron. So then we'll make solar panels. So that should be the recipe for solar panels. If I've done this correctly, which I think I have. In the meantime, we'll need to generate more electricity. So there's one solar cell. So solar cell on itself is useless, but it's a crafting item. So we don't need any more silicon dust, so I'll just take all that. And I'm going to make the inventory more easy to manage. I'll do that at some point. But for now, okay. I'm actually going to put this in my... I've got like inventory arranged in a specific way here. So I need more iron, and I don't think I have any. No, I don't. Okay, so we're almost done making solar panels there. So I'm gonna go to the mining dimension. The mining dimension, nothing's changed. It's the same as it has been, but it works for what it is. A plan that I have is that I'm gonna make it so that you can go deeper into the mines, which means like it kind of like regenerates a mine with a new seed. And yeah, I mean, I think that'd be interesting. So this should be enough. So the recipe book as well is going to contain all the recipes for any machine, and you'll be able to like access and know what machines can do what recipes. Obviously that's not in the game quite yet, but it's on the to-do list. So the assembler's probably done, it's just draining electricity now, yeah. So we'll just fill this up with a bunch of coal. And so yeah, now we can grind up some of these items. Because I will need... I've got the solar cells that I need, but I'm also going to need... Well, I'll probably need more copper wire as well. And then we can craft the solar panel. So these are... I'm just kind of showing off all the recipes. So solar panels... Here's the solar panel recipe. So I just need more iron and then I'm done. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So there you go. So then we should be able to make solar panels. So that's one solar panel. The solar panel, during daytime, which it is daytime now, the solar panel generates 1 energy unit per tick. So to be honest, it's not that much energy. It also has to be daytime. But you can see that the energy meter is slowly going up. It's because the solar panel is just slowly generating electricity. So yeah, the solar panel is in the game, it's implemented. There's nothing more to say about that. During my last devlog, there was a glitch where if you were like clicking around here, it would like change the setup in here. It's not the case. There's also, this is a glitch that should not be showing up, so I'm gonna have to fix that. But yeah, so solar panel is implemented. Yeah, so I've shown that. Item names appear when you hover over them. I've shown that. I've just got a list of things I want to show. I think I've shown everything, to be honest. There's a lighting glitch. So when it was nighttime, machines like the electric furnace, they like make a radius of light around them, and when it's nighttime, you can kind of see the light that they produce. There was like a lighting glitch where if you went too far away, there'd be like a second circle of light in the next chunk over, and that was just no good for anyone. But that's fixed. Yeah. I guess the last point is recipes are now data. So I think that's it for the showing off inside the game, the devlog. However, if you're interested in the code, I can show some of the code. Okay, so let's go to items, crafting recipes. So here's all the data about the crafting recipes. So what you can see here is this is the name of whatever gets crafted, and then there's some information about it. So this right here is the recipe itself. So wood on the bottom, stone on top, sharp stone to the right, and a blank tile there. This tells you how many of the items you need. So it's like the item ID next to how many you need. So for example, there's 2 woods for making the axe, so it's wood, and there's 2 of those. Yeah, and I guess this is the item ID that actually gets created when you do the craft. I think this is the crafting level you have to be on. This is whether or not it's shapeless. I think these are the size of the recipe. I don't know what this one is. What's this one? There's one last bite at the bottom. Number of output. So when how many items you craft. And then this is a little bit of a description. So that's the description that shows up in the recipe book. So yeah, like this is a stone pickaxe used to mine certain boulders as well as ores in the cave. So yeah. A cool thing that I did is I set it up so that the text would automatically like move to the next line when the text got too long. So I can show that in the recipe book render, the render method. I think it's this chunk of code here. Yeah, so this chunk of code. So S is the get explanation. Then it splits it up based on space bars. Then you can only have this many lines. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 10 lines. Then it basically compiles the lines to be the next every word, and if the I guess so the basically what it's doing here is if the word is going beyond its like bounds of that bounding box for what the word size can be, it goes, if that's the case, then make this line equal to the line you're currently working with. Increase the line index so that the next time you add a new line, it shows up in the next index instead of the previous index. And then the current word that we were just looking at, to add to the end of that line, you're going to add it to the next line instead. Yeah, and then otherwise, if the line is not too long yet, then just make the current line the new line that you're trying to work with. Yeah. So it was a cool like bunch of code. It's kind of difficult to explain, but it was cool that this code worked out like that. Yeah, and so all the recipes are this is an enum. I have a Java quick tutorial on that if you want to take a look at my YouTube channel and see that. But an enum is basically data. So you can initialize a bunch of like objects of the same object. That doesn't make any sense. There's an object called stone pick, which is a crafting recipe object, and you can just basically make a list of a bunch of objects that are like kind of statically defined. And you kind of define them once at the beginning of runtime, and then they just always will work from then on. And so there's like, these are some of the variables that each object has, and then there's like constructors like that. So yeah. Then there's also, let me see here. We also had processor recipes. So this is what I'm working on right now. This is not fully implemented, but I'm going to probably implement it today. These are the crafting recipes specifically for machines. Blast furnace, electric furnace, refiner, and at the bottom it should be assembler. So basically what this is the first thing is does it use every slot? So something like the blast furnace and electric furnace, you can just put an item in one slot, and then it's just that one slot that is looking at to perform the craft. Whereas with the assembler, every slot in the assembler matters for doing a crafting recipe. So then we have which processors can do this recipe. So the blast furnace, electric furnace can do all the same recipes. So this is smelting raw iron, and then down here it's smelting the refined iron that the refiner refines. Then it's the item ID next to how many the item is used up in this recipe, and this is the item ID and how many it makes. So I'm going to use all that together to do crafting recipes. Then the other thing is that processors, they now have two different Boolean arrays. So these are all the input slots. So for blast furnace, these are these four things in the top here are true. Everything else is false. These things over here are true. Everything else is false. So it's like these are the input slots and these are the output slots. And so when I implemented using these recipes, it's going to be basically, is this item in the input slot? Is this item in the output slot? Okay, if that's the case, do the recipe. And so all of the machines have that. Some of the machines don't have input or output slots because they don't do anything. Well, so processors, anything that has an inventory is a processor. But like something like an acorn, you don't put items in the inventory of an acorn. Or solar panel, there's no items that go into it, but you can still open the inventory and look at how much power it has and like control the I/O of it. So yeah, I think that's everything for that. What else can I show you? I think that's kind of it for now. I'd like this one to be a bit shorter. So yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. The game is starting to actually look pretty good. My plan is, moving forward, my plan is finish some of this stuff with the recipes. So like what I'm working on right now is making the game modular, which basically means I'm implementing kind of the back end that allows us to have recipes for any machine. So if I implement a new machine, I can just define certain recipes as that enum that I was showing you, and then it's gonna be really easy to create machines and then give them certain recipes that they can do and that they can process. Yeah. So then after that, the plan is I'm gonna add some more I'm gonna add some more like creatures, like other than the pig. And the pig's actually pretty modular too now. Last time the pig was pretty new, but now the pig is, there's not much code here to be honest. So number of limbs, the pixel location on the body of the pig where the top of the limb appears, the max health, the sprite sheet resolution, the size of the pig relative to one tile, the image file, the number of columns in the sprite sheet, the items that it drops, and the movement method, which is defined in creature. Movement method, actually I think it's in moving behavior. So random wander is the movement method that the pig uses, and if I add new movement methods, it's going to be in here. So I just add it, like there's no calling the random wander. I've set up so that this string, basically what happens is the game loops through all the methods in this class, and if the name of a method matches this string, then it says, okay, this method is what we call every time we want the creature to move in any way. And so at the bottom here, I'm going to add other moving methods for this one, just random wander. The pig will just randomly start walking around. I'm gonna add another method for like if it's an enemy, it will kind of do some math to figure out where are you relative to it, and it'll move in the direction that gets it to move right to you. And that's kind of how the animals, creatures, AIs will be in the game. So yeah, that's kind of new. So the pig, any animal that I put in the game, I just have to define these things at the top. I basically copy this and change some of the values of these things at the top. And if I want a different moving method, then I can put that in here. So it's pretty modular for that as well. So the game's becoming more and more modular, and eventually I can just add new things as much as I want. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I think that's everything now. I've shown a lot now. I could show the recipe book. Oh yeah, so there's this enum for tools. It's really simple. Just there are 3 tools in the game. There's actually no sword. Nothing is defined as a sword. But now instead of like checking, if a tool is if it's like string has the word axe or pickaxe in it, it just every item in the inventory uh, has a tool defined in it. And if there's no tool, the tool is blank or null, and then it's like, this is not a tool. So that's kind of new as well. I'll show you the recipe. I've kind of shown the recipe book a little bit already, but yeah, I mean, so here's the method for changing the page when you hit the button to change the page. Increment or decrement is basically, did I press the back button or the next button? Page correct is, this basically makes sure that if the current page you're looking at is a recipe that your crafting level is not great enough to be looking at that page, it will move you to the next page or move you off that page. And it won't show you a recipe if you can't actually craft that recipe. So, I mean, valid recipe level, that's what we're looking at here. There's the render for rendering. It's actually pretty small, but okay. This is drawing recipe. So this is the method that actually draws the recipe on the screen, and that's it. Yeah. So yeah. So let me just check. I think that's everything that I can show for now. Yeah. So that's the end of it. Thank you guys for watching. This is Devlog 5, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.